Imagine being able to create a custom prosthetic limb, a replica of a patient's heart for surgical planning or even living tissue, all with the push of a button. It may sound like science fiction, but in reality, this is the power of 3D printing in medicine. I'm a surgeon passionate about teaching advanced technology in healthcare, and in this video I'll introduce you to the fascinating world of 3D printing in healthcare. Chapter 1. What is 3D printing? 3D printing, also called additive manufacturing, is a process of creating three-dimensional objects layer by layer from a digital, computer-based design. Unlike traditional manufacturing, which carves or molds material, 3D printing builds objects from the ground up entirely, offering incredible precision and customization. Let's visualize this step by step. Chapter 2. How does 3D printing work? First, a digital model is created. Everything begins with a 3D digital model designed using computer-aided design, CAD, software, or generated by scanning an existing object, such as a patient's organ using MRI or CT scans. Next is slicing the model. The digital model is then sliced into ultra-thin layers, almost like stacking transparent sheets of paper, forming a printable blueprint. Beginning the printing process. The printer deposits material such as plastic, resin, metal, or even biological substances one layer at a time, bringing the digital model to life. After the printing, the model needs post-processing, additional steps to ensure they are ready for medical use. Curing, polishing, sterilization may be required as necessary. Chapter 3. Who can do 3D printing for healthcare? Healthcare professionals just need to know enough about the basics of this technology so that they can communicate and guide the engineers on the need, vision, and functionality of the finished product. The process is typically carried out by experts trained in designing and printing medical models, implants, and prosthetics. Which doctors mostly use this technology right now? Oncosurgeons, plastic and reconstructive surgeons, dental rehabilitation specialists, prosthetists to name a few. Radiologists are a crucial link as they help out with the imaging aspect. Medical device companies and research labs are greatly invested in this technology for innovation in surgical tools, implants, and biofabrication. Chapter 4. What does it take to set up a 3D printing lab? If a hospital or healthcare company is considering setting up such a facility, here's what they need: space and infrastructure. A dedicated, clean lab with temperature and humidity control is essential for precision printing. 3D printers and materials. The type of printer depends on the application. 1. Fused deposition modeling (FDM) for models. 2. Stereolithography (SLM) for implants. 3. Bioprinting for living tissues. Software and scanning equipment. High-end CAD software, Connecticut or MRI scanners, and slicing programs. Regulatory compliance. In healthcare, 3D printed materials must meet strict regulatory guidelines set by organizations such as the FDA, EMA, ISO standards, CDSCO, etc., as per the product and its intended use. Skilled personnel, biomedical engineers, radiologists, and technicians must collaborate to ensure the quality, accuracy, and biocompatibility of the prints. Chapter 5. If your hospital or research center wants to adopt 3D printing, here's a roadmap to getting started. Partner with 3D printing experts. Connect with universities, biotech firms, or specialized medical 3D printing companies. Identify applications. Decide whether your focus will be on surgical models, prosthetics, implants, or bioprinting. Train your team. Surgeons, radiologists, and biomedical engineers must collaborate to understand software, materials, and regulations. Start small and scale. Begin with outsourced 3D printing services before investing in in-house labs. Stay updated on regulations, ensure compliance with FDA, CE marking, or ISO standards before using 3D printed medical devices on patients. Chapter 6. Not all 3D printers work the same way. Here are the different types and techniques. Fused deposition modeling, FDM. Picture a surgeon preparing for a complex orthopedic procedure. With FDM printing, a life-sized model of the bone with complex fracture is printed using biocompatible plastic, allowing the surgical team to practice the procedure before operating. This technology is also widely used to produce patient-specific splints, braces, and prosthetic limbs that are both durable and affordable. Stereolithography, SLA, and digital light processing, DLP. Imagine a dental clinic where a patient needs a perfectly fitting dental crown. Instead of waiting weeks, SLA and DLP printers can produce ultra-precise dental implants and surgical guides in just a few hours by hardening liquid resin with ultraviolet, UV, light. These technologies are also used to print intricate anatomical models, helping surgeons visualize delicate structures like blood vessels before complex procedures. Selective laser sintering, SLS, and selective laser melting, SLM. Think of a patient who needs a custom-made titanium implant for skull reconstruction. SLM technology uses a high-powered laser to fuse metal powder into a solid structure, creating implants that perfectly match a patient's anatomy. SLS, on the other hand, is widely used for printing durable, flexible medical devices like custom braces and surgical instruments. Bioprinting. Now imagine a future where a patient with severe burns receives a skin graft, not from a donor, but from a 3D printer. Acellular dermal matrix is already available. Maybe essential cells of the skin required can be lab-grown, or in other words cloned, and placed inside the matrix. Alternately, although today it sounds like science fiction, but whether the whole skin with all its components could be 3D printed intact. Chapter 7. Current status and impact of 3D printing. Surgical planning. A neurosurgeon preparing for a delicate brain surgery. Instead of relying solely on 2D scans, they can now hold an exact 3D printed replica of the patient's brain, helping them visualize and practice the procedure beforehand. A plastic surgeon planning to operate a deformed skull due to craniosynostosis or post-trauma. Education. Medical students also benefit by learning anatomy through physical, lifelike 3D models. Patient-specific implants and prosthetics. Customization is crucial in healthcare. A patient with a shattered jaw due to trauma can receive a 3D printed titanium implant designed precisely to fit their anatomy. Similarly, 3D printed prosthetic limbs are changing lives, especially in low-income regions where traditional prosthetics are expensive and inaccessible. Bioprinting and tissue engineering. Researchers are pushing boundaries by printing living tissues, whether it is heart cells, blood vessels, bladder, bone, etc. This technology is paving the way for future organ printing, potentially solving the global organ donor shortage. Oncology and tumor resection planning. For a cancer patient undergoing tumor removal surgery, precision is critical. Oncosurgeons and plastic reconstructive surgeons work together and save time, save critical structures, and help restore anatomy better. This is by 3D models of tumors, planned resection, informing the plastic team ahead, which helps them plan the donor with better focus on rehabilitation, thus improving patient outcomes. Take-home messages. Customization is crucial in healthcare. Restoration of like with like is the key to better functionality. Rapid integration of advanced technologies is possible when the research goes from being just tech to the table in the operating room. Subscribe to the channel for content on advanced technologies in healthcare.